Good morning, everybody. Do we still have rock music on in the background?
I can still hear it.
Let's see if we can get that off. Hey, technical difficulties. We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to another one of our interviews here with someone who you know very well in the Sacramento community. We have David Andry down here to talk about his new book that's coming out through Walt called End After End. And welcome to the show again, sir.
Thanks,
you have
Ben.
a very cool book on the shelf right now. There are 2 volumes of Resonant that came out through Walt that people can pick up at any time to get an idea of what your writing is like. But this is kind of a special one because this is also one that is a full-on collaboration for you. So where do we start with End After End? I'll leave that up to you.
Well, you know, actually those two things kind of go together, because End After End were me and my and Tim Daniels' first collaboration together, and since then we've become a writing partnership, and we're going to do basically all our books together, because heck, it's easier when you have 2 people versus 1 person. But no, we really worked well together. So, you know, right towards the beginning of the pandemic, you know, Tim messaged me and was like, "Hey man, let's do something together." And I've known Tim, or at that point, for 10 plus years. So I know Tim for a very long time, and he was always super supportive of my career and helped me with my writing. He would read scripts and give feedback and that sort of thing when I was kind of figuring stuff out. And I've kind of watched his career and like been like always impressed with the things that he's done. So he said, "Let's do something together." I said, "Sure, why not? You know, what do I have to lose?" And, you know, it was a little bit kind of nerve-wracking before. It's kind of like going on our first date. You know, we call each other on the phone. We have some like, you know, small talk. How's the family? Yada, yada, yada. And then it's like, at some point you got to make the first move. And I'm like, "So what do you want to do?" And he's like, "I'm open to anything. You got any ideas?" And I know Tim very well. He's a horror guy, loves, you know, that's his genre of preference. And for me, that's not really my genre of preference. And I said, "Well, I got an idea." He's like, "Yeah, I'll do anything other than fantasy." And I'm like, "Well, I got this fantasy idea." And you know, all I had was this little nugget of, you know, I wanted a story about a guy who, right at the moment of his death, lives this whole other life. You know, it's like that microsecond where you say your life flashes before your eyes. I said, okay, let's give this guy a whole nother life. And it's just a regular guy who shows up in the middle of this fantasy world that's engulfed in a war, you know, multi-thousand-year war between good and evil, basically. And he falls into the middle of a D-Day invasion. And it's like, here's a sword, here's a shield, those are the bad guys, go. And he's a guy who's got like no special skills. He's not like a fighter. He's just a normal dude. And so for me, that was the hook. Like, how does this normal person survive this war? And I think with that kind of angle, I'm like, look, Tim, this is not fantasy. This is not high fantasy with a bunch of rules and like, you have to learn who's the 3rd son of the 4th king of the Lost Empire. It's not like that. This is fantasy from a grunt's point of view, from ground level, you know, kind of dragged through the mud. And once we kind of put it in this war setting, he was totally in. And, you know, it works so well for End After End that we just have fallen into a great collaboration and have, you know, I counted this morning, other than the 2 things we have coming out soon through Vault, I think we have 7 or 8 other projects that are under either contract or deal memos. So we have a lot of stuff. Yeah, it just, I mean, we spent a good 2.5 years just writing and coming up with pitches and just putting our heads down and just working. And then all of a sudden we look up, we're like, "Hey, we got a bunch of stuff. Let's start pitching." And so
probably it's all sitting on the desk. That's absolutely fantastic. That is an unbelievable amount of stuff to just be sitting on.
Yeah.
End after end. Can we see some of the covers, Ronnie? Because it comes out on the 24th, which is not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. And then you will be in our shop on the, what would that make it? The 27th, the Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday the 27th, doing some signings. This is a variety of covers. You've got some standard covers. There's some incentive covers here. Everything that we're showing, though, is stuff that we will be definitely getting. So quantities, of course, will be very limited on some of these, but these, we're not teasing you with things that I haven't acquired. Now in the book, you gave us a general pitch. Where do we jump in on this thing? Do we jump in on this with him hitting the fantasy world,
Yeah.
or do we?
Yeah, page one. Yeah, page one. Walt dies. Walt Willem, the main character. Page one, he dies, or is about to die in the real world. And so page two, he shows up, face first in the mud in the middle of this D-Day invasion, and he has a mentor called named Grink, who is kind of a clock punching mentor. He's not super into it. He's doing a job, and he's done that job for hundreds of years. So he's like, here you go that way, don't die.
Just another number.
Yes. Yeah. So, and that was kind of just a fun part of the story too, was having this mentor that was not perfect, that got things wrong, and is not really super into isn't that true believer that you see in fantasy, where like, I believe you are the chosen one. He's like, no, I believe you're just another dude who showed up, and now I have to try to keep you alive for as long as possible. So we had fun with Grink's character, kind of having him have a character arc as well as Walt have a character arc, so both can change and develop through the series.
And it's kind of interesting too, because since we as readers and you as creators do not get a chance to see him in the real world, now you're just taking this character that you built up in your mind and immediately thrusting him into a situation where he is completely that's kind of a unique thing for you as a creator.
Think of the first issue as like, recently on Marvel movies, you go and sit down and boom, an action sequence hits you, and then the title card comes up. This is our action sequence before the title card. So issue 2, we get to know a little bit more about Walt, but we really don't find out about Walt significantly until probably issue 4, and then we have some flashbacks in issue 4 that do show some of his life before he came to the end after end. But yeah, we don't, if you read Resonant, I think Resonant had 7 pages before stuff started happening. I sped this up even further. It has 1 page before stuff starts happening. I don't like to wait around a lot. I like to kind of jump into the middle.
No, you don't. And thank you, Tyler. He said Resonant is absolutely great, so he loved it. How many issues are you planning for End After End?
It's 10 issues.
Okay. That's the same thing that Resonant was.
Yep. Okay. I like that length. We're doing some Tim and I are doing some shorter series after this, doing some 5-issue series, but this story was, I think, just too big to get us the development and everything that we wanted in 5 issues. Comic book publishers like those shorter issues now because they're shorter runs, because they're less risk, right? You make a lot on issue 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 starts to drop off. Typically, that's the run of 90%, 99% of comic runs, because people buy the first issue, say, "Oh, I like that, I'll get the trade," and then or people fall off. They stop buying the issues for one reason or another. We all do it, even on series that we like. We just go, "Oh man, I missed one," and then just kind of wait for the trade to come out. So the longer the run, the bigger the risk. But I think also you don't get a lot of the great character moments and dramatic moments that you get from a longer series with these short series. You don't care about the characters as much, and think of like things like The Walking Dead. When you when you kill someone at issue 100, that hits different than killing someone at issue 2.
That is fair.
You know,
Yes.
you just haven't lived with that character enough. So I'm glad we went with 10 issues on this one, because really issues 7 and 8 are my favorite 2 of the series, and I really hope people stick around for those 2 issues. And 9 and 10 are our big climax. We took 2 issues to kind of bring the story to a close, and so I think it's really worth it if you stick around. And it's such a fast-paced series too, that I think it may read better in the monthly installments than in the trade. I mean, I'm saying for sure buy the trade as well. But I think we wrote this as really a lot of heavy boom action on each individual issue. And if you read that in the trade, you may need to hydrate in the middle or something, because it's going to be pretty exhausting, because it hits you hard and it goes really fast.
But real quick, back to that 10-issue arc thing where you're talking about the impact and not having as much. There's actually there's a large percentage of people now who are not willing to commit to a Walking Dead. So when I put 2 volumes of Resonant in their hand, they'll buy them both immediately, because they know they don't have to buy 22 issues. So I mean, I guess it's back and forth.
Yeah, and I think it's also a little bit of a culture shift with streaming, right? We want to binge it all and be done. So I think if most of these streaming shows don't get 10 years, right? It's not a Law and Order SVU. You get 2 seasons, 3 seasons, you can binge it all, and that's fine. It is what the culture is doing, both in comics and in all media, is that we're doing more bite-sized chunks. And I think for comic creators, we have to adapt to that. And whether that's telling the story in multiple volumes, letting this one sit and then coming back and doing a volume 2 where you start with a new number 1, I think you're going to see a lot more of that. That Texas Blood is doing that right now. It's telling stories under the same title, but the stories restart with a new arc or new characters and everything, each one. So I think you're going to see a lot more of that going forward.
Interesting. That's a good point. I didn't even think about it, but when you pulled in the whole binging thing, it makes sense, because we really like that.
We like it. I like it. I'm mad. Sometimes I'm mad that I have to wait. Sometimes I like waiting, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I just want to watch the rest of this right now.
Yes, I agree with you. It depends on what it is. I like having a couple shows that I can wait on to build up anticipation. The rest I get through. So it's going to be 10 issues. Is this a definitive end on this one?
There is a definitive end of this story, but not an end of the end after end in general. We leave the option of, Walt's afterlife may not be my afterlife when I die. So there's definitely this concept that still exists that we can come back to time after time if we want to.
Okay, good. A nice open-ended one where we get a conclusion, but we don't need what's that? Willow meets Saving Private Ryan, huh?
Exactly. That is one of the ways that we're pitching it. Absolutely, because it's Willow's not the cleanest of fantasy stories. It's a little grungy, a little dirty, and definitely we have a lot of war elements in End After End.
Interesting. So now I know you probably can't talk about the other projects. Is there anything you can tell us? I mean, you've got so many on the plate.
The next Vault project has been announced, and it's going to be what we're calling a Nightfall double feature. So Nightfall is Vault's horror imprint, and we are putting out a triple size 2 stories in one issue. So each issue will be 60-ish pages, and each story is 30 pages in it. And that's going to be That's going to be 4 issues. So you're going to get a lot of story in 4 issues. And there's 2 continuing stories, one written by Tim Daniel and myself, illustrated by Chris Sheehan, who did Autumnal, and who does like the most amazing horror covers you've ever seen. And that one's going to be colored by Jason Wordie from Resident. We're basically taking the crews from Resident, Plot, and Autumnal and mashing them up and coming out with new stories. Yeah.
Okay, so we got Wednesday.
That's going to be out in October.
Okay.
And so that's been officially announced. We have covers and solicits for all that stuff. So Tim and my story for that is called Denizen, and it is a family horror, a little bit in the vein of Paranormal Activity or one of the like possession stories.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Tim gave me one and I had to give him one. So,
okay.
So
that's very nice.
Yeah. So it's a family story. It's a blended family, and it's about kind of family connections and what that takes. And really excited about that. The art is coming out just amazing. And so we're partnered with Daniel Kraus, who did Shape of Water and who wrote Autumnal. And Man House is going to do the art on his story, and that one's called The Cemeterians, and it is really creepy and weird, and it's about human bones start appearing in everyday objects all around the world, and a team of investigators are trying to figure out what the heck is going on. It's very strange and very cool.
Very strange.
Yeah.
Okay,
and so it's 2 great stories in one volume. It's like going to the drive-in and be watching a movie and then watching another movie, and it's just a horror fest, The
double feature. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we will definitely have that. Everybody ask your comic shops. Make sure they get the orders in, because I know the FOCs on that have not hit yet. So you can tell them you want it to make sure they order more. Yeah. Now, on the 24th, that's 2 Wednesdays from now, End After End comes out. And Tyler was throwing out some sequel names for you. I don't know if you saw Time After Time.
No.
And then the 27th, he'll be in the shop doing some signings. It's a Saturday. But before then, you have a release party on the 24th. Tell us about that.
I'm going to Cape and Cowell in Oakland, and they did a exclusive cover for End After End with Justin Greenwood, who is an amazing artist who's worked on a ton of stuff, including what's the name of that show that was on ABC for one season? But yeah. And so, Justin did an amazing cover, and it's a store exclusive cover. So I'm going to be down there for a couple hours on the Wednesday that it comes out. Me and Justin will both be there signing the covers. And there's, I think, 2 versions of that. There's a non-logo version that they call the Virgin version, and then there's the regular store version. And it's going to be it's really cool. It's going to be fun. And I'm excited to hang out with Justin and sign some comics.
No, that's going to be awesome. And there it is at the bottom, everybody. Write it down. Make sure a screen capture so you can check it out and visit him that day. And, of course, if you can't make it down there, or you just want to see this lovely man twice, you come
see me twice.
Yes, twice.
And, when I come to Empires, I'm going to have with me, and I'm going to give Ben's going to have some of these, too, our exclusive. This is exclusive to me cover. So this is exclusive to me personally.
Yes.
Yes. And so this is a Christopher Alvarez, my partner in Ghost Thunder. If you guys have seen us around over the years doing Free Comic Book Day or conventions, Chris did the cover for this. It's amazing and wraps all the way around. Oh, look at that. So it's beautiful. I am the sole purveyor of these. Well, Ben will have some too, but that is a super exclusive variant. You can only get in, through me or through Ben. Once I'm done at the shop, and then come pick that up. That'll be exclusive for Empires.
That is pretty cool. That's like the hidden variant.
Mm-hmm.
Andry knows about.
Yeah, you got to have the password and know the secret handshake to get that one.
That's perfect. We'll talk about it on the day of. That's the only time we can learn it. And again, before we wrap this up, you said you have so many other comics. I know you can't talk about them because they haven't been announced. Are you working with Vault on all of these, or should we expect to look for you elsewhere as well?
Actually, right as it stands right now, the Nightfall double feature is the last project I have for Vault on the books.
Okay, so we've got to keep our eyes open.
This will, all be different publishers. I'm really excited, to kind of spread the wings a little bit and get out there through some different mediums or different publishers and get some different eyeballs, hopefully, on the work. But yeah, really, really excited. I want to talk about all of them.
But I mean, that's exciting, though. I mean, you've had a great relationship with Vault. I'm sure you'll work with them again. There's other platforms, or not platforms, as you said, other publishers that want your work. So let's see what that does.
Yeah, and we're gonna have something coming out in graphic novel form. That's more of a YA. We of course are gonna hit our kind of trademark horror stories. We got some sci-fi, we got some fantasy, we got a little bit of humor. I'm trying to make Tim funny, and so we're.
Tim is not funny.
Well, Tim's hilarious, but when he writes, he's so serious. I'm like, man, it's not all doom and gloom, Timmy. Let's get a little light. So we do have a story that I'll tell you is going to be illustrated also by Christopher Alvarez, my Ghost Thunder partner. He's going to be the illustrator on this particular story, and it's more of a kind of a Army of Darkness type horror.
So he to do his horror, but it's
but it's a little over the top, a little silly, a little splatterific. So yeah, got a lot of exciting stuff in the works. You can never really count those comic chickens until they're hatched, but things are looking pretty positive for the next year or so.
That's great. And if he's mentioned it a couple times with Ghost Thunder, everybody, if you've read Resonant, if you haven't read Resonant, pick that up now, because you might as well not wait, because you have to wait till the 24th for End After End. But if you've read Resonant, you're going to pick up End After End. Go to the local shelf, because there's Ghost Thunder stuff there with not only David, because there's a trade up there too. And we've got some Christopher Alvarez stuff, so they can see what your new, not new, your old partner, New Ventures.
Yes.
Looks like in comic book form. Now we'd asked, or somebody had asked about Resonant. Is there any chance of going back to that, or is that just shelved for the moment?
Well, as far nothing's dead forever in comics, so you can't say never. There's no plans on it right now to go back to that world. And people have heard on multiple interviews before that I have more scripts ready to go if that's ever an option. So
just hold out hope, guys.
Yes, it's unfortunately it's a business as well as an art form, so the more people buy, the more chances you're going to get more of what you like. So
do you have a baby, or are they all equal to you?
Oh, they're all equal. They're all different. It's usually the one that I haven't started on yet.
You have to get it out. You got to get it.
Right now, End After End, I was so excited for it for, last couple of years we've been working on it. And now that it's coming out, it's more of like, I'm just stressed that no one's going to buy it, sort of a thing, and so, unfortunately you have to, I don't get to decide whether it's good. You guys get to decide whether it's good by purchasing it. So if people buy it, then it's considered good. If people don't buy it, then it's considered a flop. So hopefully a lot of people buy it, enough people that, it shows that we have an audience and that people want to read what we are, me and Tim are writing. That would be ideal. It's nerve-wracking to put something down and put it out, and then you just have to wait and see what people do with it.
When do
you
you
know,
start
and
getting numbers? When do you start getting numbers in?
you know, I don't know how much Vault will tell me of that. They usually will tell. We'll usually know like if we sell out of our first print run,
Gotcha.
and kind of what that first print run looked like, and then like I said, things just fall off. So unless you're like The Walking Dead, and then issues start to climb as far as readership,
Mhm.
You can expect to have a pretty significant drop after issue one. So I try not to look at those numbers because that's depressing.
That's fair. No. You just work on the next project. It's already you let this thing roll and go from
Yeah,
there. So everybody pick it up. Whether you're coming to Empires to pick it up, whether you can make it on the 27th to see him, we will have them on the shelf. Your local comic book store will have them. Now, FOCs are already done for this one, so you
yep,
can still tell them to hold it for you. They'll add it to your saver, or at least put it off to the side for you, because up until it comes out, they should be able to increase their orders at least a little bit,
yeah.
and get more of these books in. So please
Yeah,
let
we
them
would
know.
love, and yeah, order it because we would love to do a second printing if we sell out. That'd be great. That's always a good sign if we can sell out. We have the numbers of the FOs. We have the numbers of people that have ordered it before our final order cutoff. But they usually print a little bit over that, right? You're going to print over for people that buy it day of. So we can sell that out, then that's a really good sign, and then we can go to a second printing.
All right, that's awesome. So yes, check him out. Go to. Can you put up the name of the shop he's going to on the release date, please, one more time for everybody? Check him out there. Of course, follow this man on social media. See what he's doing. Like his stuff. Buy his comics. Check out Resonant if you haven't, and of course, follow him just so you can find out what he has coming. Well, thank you very much again, sir. It's always great to talk to you. I'm looking forward to this week and a half. It's almost
Yeah,
here.
that's all. It's close now, Ben. I'm getting real nervous.
This is gonna be fun. No, it's gonna be great. We'll put it in everybody's hands, and hopefully we'll have copies left for you to even sign on Saturday. The best thing that you could have is me to give you a call and say, "Hey, David, don't bother to show up because we sold the book."
Yeah, we're sold out.
That would be fantastic.
I'll come in anyways, and people can bring it in, and I'll sign it, and then I'll have the Alvarez.
Oh, that's right. We got the Alvarez cover. Never mind.
Yeah, we'll have that one no matter what. Those will be $10 a piece. Because we had to pay for it out of our own pockets, so we got to make some money back.
Nope, that's fair. That is absolutely fair. And of course, it being the hidden, the hidden gem.
That's right, the stealth variant.
Yes, I like that stealth variant.
Well, I did that with Resonant too. We had a Ramon Villalobos stealth variant, and then Tim's daughter Ellie actually did a cover for us. That it's the blue Resonant cover with the lantern on it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I had a couple of stealth variants for Resin. I like it. I like to have something that people can only get through me.
That's actually a fun thing. I'm surprised more people don't do this.
Hey man, it's a lot of creators just want to create and don't know how the system works. And luckily I have my best friend Sean Kirkham. Sean, has worked for Skybound since Skybound existed, and he has a Diamond account, so I can order a print run through him. So nice. It is a little bit of work. It is a little bit of work to get those. You got to coordinate the cover and make sure that the publisher is fine with it, and get someone with a Diamond account to do the order. But a lot of creators have those contacts that they could work if they want to.
You got it. Hey, and I'm just looking over here. He says, I'll take two. Boom, boom, boom. Shoot me a private message or call me, Deaf Bird, so I can make sure I put it aside for you, since I don't have anyone under that name in my in my system. But again, thank you, sir. Enjoy your Sunday. You guys will hear us talking more about this as we lead up to the 27th. And of course, Wednesdays, New Comic Book Days, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we'll have his book right there out and ready, of course, with some variants as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.